So our first speaker is going to be Kristof Kovacs. He is a transformation leader at IBM, works on organization-wide transformations both internally and with clients. He started his career in Budapest, Hungary with GE in their financial management program, transitioned to global financial leadership roles within management consulting, and leads again internal and external client-facing transformations and engagements. So I will pass it off to Kristof.
Good morning. How are you guys? We'll make this very interactive. So first, a bit of a quiz. So in the 1990s, we had Six Sigma, 2000s, lean, manufacturing and services, and then Agile in the 2010s. So I will shout out a few things that is characteristic of these methods and approaches to enterprise transformation and operational excellence. And you guys tell me whether they fit in one category or another. So let me try this. Again, don't be shy. 3.4 defect per million opportunity. Where does that fit? Awesome. 7 wastes. Awesome. Iterative approach. Cone of uncertainty. Now I'm raising the bar.
Meteorology?
Yes, the hurricane. Cone of uncertainty is a really big deal around Agile. And the reason why you have to iterate is because you don't want to wait for a 2-year SAP implementation and the world changed. The world moving really, really fast, right? We heard this 2 decades ago, nothing is constant but change. Well, that's still true, right? You know, things are moving really, really fast. You know, the only thing that changes is it's accelerated. It's an exponential change. So that's why Agile is really important. So that's me. Anybody has been to that small city over there? Can you recognize it? One? Okay, that's my hometown. 2 million people. There are a few icons on the top of the picture. It was a decade of basketball, a decade of GE, a decade of IBM, and roughly about a decade in global roles in various different leadership positions. And I didn't know that at that time. When I started playing basketball in Budapest, Hungary, that's what the picture is of. You know, I didn't know that, but I was already a continuous improvement fanatic. I was running to school, and I wasn't very tall, but there were these signs in Hungary, in Budapest, about every store, grocery stores, bars, and they were like up there 10 feet high. So my mission was jump up and try to touch the sun. And I wanted to jump every day, higher and higher and higher. And if you watched me, you probably thought I was crazy. Because not many people are actually jumping higher and higher on the streets of Budapest, right? But that mindset, that behavior, got me to not only just play basketball, but I was the captain of the Hungarian team for the under-17 group. And I actually got to the World Student Games, which is like the Olympics for university students, and got me a free scholarship to come to the US and play here at University of Maine. So my fanatic, crazy jumping and reaching these things higher and higher every day got to where I have to get to. So those are really my backgrounds, and kind of it helps a little bit define where I went with life and how we kind of defined what's next after Six Sigma, Lean, and Agile. The right side of this picture is the head of your business unit. It's your CEO. You know, we talked about exponential change. You know, everything is moving really, really fast. So that we started to describe something called digital Darwinism. A lot of societal change, technological change. So as operational excellence practitioners, as leaders who want to drive operational excellence, business transformation, you know, we have a pretty significant dilemma. You know, there are these tectonic shifts in the business environment. How does this guy go to catch up with his competition on the other side? How do we take a leap? And what is continuous improvement, and what is transformation, and what is innovation? How do they differ, right? And our experience is many people want to take a leap and innovate and transform, but it's scary. It's not about the method. It's about taking a leap of faith and supporting the guys, the leaders, us, operational excellence professionals, business transformation professionals, supporting them to take a leap. It's a scary situation, right? So what's the difference between continuous improvement and transformation and innovation? Using this picture, how would they differ? Let me help. Continuous improvement is basically taking a hike down, getting bruised every day, going further, crossing the Colorado River, and making a hike up. That's continuous improvement. There is 100% certainty that you're going to keep moving up the S-curves, little S-curves, little S-curves, keep moving higher, higher, higher. And it's tough, but it's not deadly. Right? So innovation is figuring out how to move to the side very quickly. Continuous improvement takes a long time. Okay? It's a leap. The competition saying, catch me if you can. I'm here already on the other side. I'm Amazon. I'm Uber. I disrupted you. So what do we do? I talked about the method, and we talked to the CEO about the method, Lean Six Sigma, Agile. They don't care. They want to get to the other side. Right? And all this competition is laughing there, catch me if you can, right? And when I came into consulting from my GE background for finance roles, I was a bit skeptical. A typical consultant would go up to this guy, let's say he's your CEO, and says, I have an awesome set of PowerPoints I want to show you. Here is the method. You have to train everybody in this, and you will be all set. Like, I need to get my organization over there. How does that help me? And the next one comes along, it's like, sir, we have this awesome catapult. Anybody use a catapult as an experiment? With the normal distribution, right, and the variation. McKinsey or whoever comes, here's my catapult. It's going to really work. Sir, please sit here, ready to go. I'm not sure. What's your probability, of me getting me over there? Oh, 95%. And are you sure I'm going to get across? Like, yeah, well, there's 1 out of 20 chance. 1 out of 20 not, but go. So I'm ready with my X. Right? So that's the situation. And we have to figure out how to drive change that is successful. So when we're building the next generation change agents in IBM, we call it Transformational Leadership Development Program, we actually spend a lot of time on how to get leaders across, how to help them survive in a very difficult scenario, and how to move quickly so they can catch up. Now, it actually gets worse. It gets worse. It's not always sunny. It's windy. There's fog. There's snow. We're trying to make a change across the organization, help our leaders get across the Grand Canyon. And there's lots of headwind. The organization resists, managers resist, other leaders resist. People are skeptical. I heard about your lean stuff, doesn't help me. I had one VP saying, Kristof, I have 4 weeks to go to the end of the quarter. I'm 5 million short with my profit. How can you, the lean guy, help me? 4 weeks? 5 million? That's some of the problem statements of these folks. I need to deliver 5 million or I'm dead, potentially, right? So what we believe is that the training and the development is less about methods. And again, methods are really important. It's a great foundation. All those 3 have huge merits. It's very important. Principles are very valuable. However, what we believe that talent development, change agent development, is much more about dealing with crossing the Grand Canyons and dealing with a lot of difficult climates and headwinds. Who knows what VUCA stands for? VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Okay? So this is really important. The term was first used in 1980, middle of 80s, right? It's a military term, and that's another important training that people have to get, right? Yes, standard deviation, yes, 7 ways, yes, iterate, minimum viable product. All of those things are really important foundations, right? But how do I deal with volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous situations? Right? How do you train for that? You know, how do you train your next generation black belts or lean masters or scrum masters to deal with all the VUCA, right? Our point of view is you have to keep repeating, and you have to give your students many, many Grand Canyon-sized challenges, get across, and have a safety net, a massive safety net around them, because they're not always going to succeed. Right? So they're going to keep using their method, they're going to keep using their approach, they're going to keep driving towards the outcome of landing the team safely on the other side, right? Delivering the desired outcomes. Right? But they have to get support. So what does support look like? Support can be a coach, mentor. It can be a set of training courses that we want them to take on. It could be, one of our values in IBM is think, prepare, rehearse, right? So simulate what it's going to feel like, right? Have a conversation at 9 p.m. with Kristof about what to expect in a difficult workshop, where we have to decide how to cut 10% of our cost, right? Difficult situations. And it's a bit of an exposure therapy, right? First time somebody goes through, first 6 months rotation, they go through this and they really get activated. I'm freaking out. What do I do? Well, here is what people before you did. The folks who went ahead of you, right? So, you know, you get support, emotional support, intellectual support, you know, capability. So you're really trying to think about that part of the development, right? So it's not so much the cerebellum, it's the limbic system. Okay, that's what we are training. All right, so this is kind of the nuts and bolts of the ecosystem. And have you guys heard about this whole idea of mastery, autonomy, purpose? Okay. Let me start with this. Many of you have teams, some of you have big teams, okay? Raise of hand, who motivates? How many of you motivate your teams? Raise your hand. Okay. A little bit of provocation. Stop motivating your team. Stop motivating the team, because if you create the right environment for your team, the intrinsic motivators will really propel people to do some awesome stuff, such as leaping across Grand Canyon-sized challenges. Mastery. Think about the kid who's playing piano. My 14-year-old loves playing on the piano. He does it for hours and hours. Mastery. They pursue mastery. They want to be really, really good at what they are doing. Autonomy. People don't want to be micromanaged. Millennials, and you will see many of them from IBM this week, millennials don't want to be micromanaged. They want to get, here is the vision, and off you go. And you need to deliver and help the CEO or this department head to get across the Grand Canyon. Go for it. Tell me if you need any help. Ask questions. I'm here for you. That's the same. Purpose.
So on that, I would say it's blended. You're saying don't motivate the team.
Yes.
Individuals. I'd say it's a blend.
It's a blend. Of course it's a blend. But what people tend to do is rah, 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 and they don't think about the ecosystem that pulls people in a direction, right? So what I'm saying, I'm being a bit extreme, of course, to make my point. Purpose is a big deal, okay? I was talking with an insurance company folks, and they said, we have a retention problem. I said, of course you do, because you don't have a higher purpose. You're telling people, do a normal distribution and tell me mean and standard deviation and whether the process has changed. Or tell me your iteration plans for agile implementation. That's not purpose, right? Purpose is, I want to be the best change agent in my company. That's purpose. That's fun. That's exciting. And that's my +1. The 3 is actually in books, and you can read about them. Psychological safety. If people are freaking out about crossing the Grand Canyon and taking a leap, heck no, nobody wants to learn. They're looking for the exit, right? Big deal. Big deal. You can't have all this going on and people learning how to take leaps and help their senior leadership survive and win without having a psychological safety. Big deal. I'm not going to go through all the nitty-gritty about education, exposure, experience. This is also another important piece of the puzzle. Learning is the 3 E's. Okay? Education is what you do at university. Exposure, which is difficult situation, difficult stakeholders, is a big deal. And experience is a big deal. You need to get things into muscle memory, okay, as you work through challenging projects, right? And you have your black belts, and you have your lean coach, and your scrum masters. They have to go through things many times to really, really commit things to muscle memory. Okay? So that's why that is. And often what gets forgotten is the exposure piece. When the millennials feeling in their stomach that this is going to be a rough day. And it will be. But the next time it will be less rough. Okay? That's the whole idea. Okay, so we piloted this program. Whoa! We piloted this program with 3 folks about 6 years ago. We had a lot of this talent leave IBM. So we said, look, we want to really create an ecosystem. We want to make people excited, yet we want to have very challenging assignments for them. So we started with the 3. It's actually funny because I bumped into one of the first guys in the lobby here. He's still with IBM. He works at our headquarters in Armand. So awesome career velocity. People get promoted roughly every 12 to 18 months coming out of this program versus 3-4 years of typical. Yeah, so you wonder, okay, we have this program, many people have rotational programs, so where are we and where are we going next? So here we are, 140 people inception to date, many graduates. This is our current count. Caroline, right? Hopefully it's accurate, 63.
Should
But
say
we-
2019, yes.
Oh yes, 2019. All right. So that's our current count. That's our active students. And we actually have an exciting announcement today. We had people asking, so internal, external, how does this work? So when we started to gently go public with this idea of an in-house master's degree and rotational program and getting people across the Grand Canyon and help them survive, the trolls from internet came out. And guess what they said? Oh, another rotational program. It's exploiting these poor young people, and nobody cares after they are done with the program because it doesn't matter externally. Well, first of all, I would disagree with that. Many companies like Procter & Gamble, IBM, and even GE, for example, I think it's a great, they are a great company as well, although they have recently troubles. But they are a great leadership development institution. They are a great academy. And headhunters are actually waiting for people to get out of these programs. So I don't fully agree with the trolls that, this is not recognized externally. However, this is the first vulnerability of the program that we discovered, external accreditation. Right? And those highlights are just some of our kind of key ingredients, right? I'm not going to read through all of them. There's a lot of stuff there. There are a lot of different angles there. So what's missing now is somebody saying, let's make this into a master's degree. Right? I mean, doctors go to the ER to practice. They want to, go through very challenging situations. So, we have in Sao Paulo an institution that have been partnering with IBM for many, many years. There's a master's in AI, and there are many other institutions that create bachelor or master's type collaboration, where IBMers are professors, they teach. We have IBMers attending these courses, and I was visiting there in November last year, and this gentleman right here, Professor Julio, said, let's kick off Masters in Business Transformation, August 2019. We have a design thinking workshop happening next week. We have to kind of work through the details. The economics are sound. We want to leverage in-house learning. We want to leverage experience. We want to leverage exposure. We really want to make it well-rounded. But we need a university for external accreditation. Okay? And those are two different worlds. We have to have the design thinking workshop to come together. Of course, the university says, look, the government ties our hand. There's only so much we can do. People have to be in classrooms. We cannot do distant education. Okay, no problem. Let's have the government in the design thinking session. Let's co-create. Let's co-create the future. So that's exactly what's going to happen. And we may start with a minimum viable product, and it might not be a fully fledged Master's in Business Transformation degree, but it might be a nano or micro degree in business transformation, or a postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma. But there's no more trolling around, nobody cares about this program externally. We are going to make it into an external, really, really strong program. And going to co-create with the students, the professors, and the government, and the administration together something really, really powerful. Thank you so much. So we have a bit of a bonus material. Don't just listen to me how fantastic this thing is, but listen to somebody who's already in the program. Caroline, please come on the stage.
Thanks, Kristof. So, as Kristof mentioned, I'm in the TLVP Transformational Leadership Development Program at IBM. He's talked a little bit about it. My colleague Matt and I have a session on Friday at 9 to go into the details of how the program operates and runs and the type of work that we do for our clients. But we wanted to give some anecdotal experiences here so you can get a feel for how it is. So I'm originally from Baltimore, live in Philadelphia now. I went to Drexel University, rock climb outside of work. I've done some presentations with my brother's autistic, so I do a lot of presentations and volunteer work with him, and it's great. He's actually visiting all those Disney parks while I'm doing this. So. And I've been at IBM for about 4 years, and 18 months of those 4 years have been in TLVP. I was going to go through a little bit about my career, but I had exciting news confirmed on Monday that I will be graduating the program early, so 18 instead of 24 months. A VP at IBM for one of our $3 billion industries has created a position for me to work on strategy and operations internally at the company. And I can brag and say that it's wonderful that you did this for me, but the reality is if this happens for so many people that leave our program, it's not even abnormal. It's like, oh great, you got a job at IBM. So I'm really excited about it. It proves that this program really is something that sets people apart. There's 400,000 people that she could have chose from to create a position for, but she specifically said, I want someone in this program. I spoke with her on the phone for 30 minutes. She got a feel for me as a person. I hardly talked about my experience with Lean and Agile and the business transformations that I've done, but she knows that she's able to take a leap of faith based on the personality and the soft skills that I've developed through this program, and she knows that it's going to work. So I wanted to end on a question. Have you ever taken a leap of faith on someone that has potential to do great things? Hopefully you have, because that's what TLDP encourages upper leadership within companies to do. Kristof and I were discussing yesterday that the program's given me an opportunity to take leaps of faith on people. He took one initially to set the program up. I run our North America operations for the program now as my secondary role. So I work with clients and I do all the operations work for TLDP. So I have to take leaps of faith on people with the program, and now someone's taken a leap of faith for me, promoting me within the company. So it's great. I have only good things to say about TLDP. There's a few of us scattered throughout the conference, so we're all happy to talk to you about it in the booth downstairs and again the session on Friday. So, thank you everyone for attending, and we'll open it up for questions.
Any questions? You guys are very quiet. Yes, please.
So you, because we're doing something similar, right? We're county government, and we're trying to set up a business transformation academy, right? So we take new employees in, we teach them, we give them like a Lean Six Sigma white belt, because, you know, county government doesn't pay the same as IBM, right? So we're trying to bring people in. And I do it all myself, right? So I've trained like 500 people, right? So far in about a year and a half. But what so you're not certified yet as a actual master's degree yet.
So what we are doing is internally we already advertised this in-house master's degree, but IBM cannot officially today issue a master's degree.
So you
So we
still
have
call
to-
it a master's degree, you must certificate when they're
Yeah.
done, and they get.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like something just to give.
And the program's
And
founded
explain.
on education, so there really is as much education as you could get in a master's, but we just don't.
So here's the other thing, and I'm from Hungary, so I can say this. Sometimes I feel MBAs on a resume is a branding thing.
Right.
Okay? How much are you willing to pay for one line in your resume?
Right.
Okay? Caroline will run circles around any MBA hire we get in.
Right. Oh, and I fully agree. I have all those certificates, right? But, you know, we trained someone as a green belt, a black belt. When I was a black belt, I learned from George for, you know, the very beginning, and I did nothing. So, but it took me going out and actually doing it. So I do a lot of coaching and mentoring, but I'm really interested. I'll probably get with you after, because we're trying to create an academy where we train them, you know, the project management skills, Scrum, you know, Six Sigma, Lean, right? So we take, you know, and we're just in the infancy of kicking it off. But what you're doing is exactly what we want to do within our government. And we know people are going to leave,
Yes.
you know, but we're the fastest growing community in county in the country almost in Tampa. So we'll give something good, right? It's a good thing. If they leave, so what? That's great, right? Because it helps our cause. Our ultimate cause is to get people to think this way.
Yeah. So
We
to
call them
you-
system thinkers, but
Yes.
generally what you're talking about.
So think about your structure as a tour of duty. So organizations look like a triangle. We have similar, the whole program is very flat, extremely flat. But what we try to create at the end of the 2 year is at least 3 offers from anywhere, not just our business unit, anywhere in IBM.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, it happens that startups pick up our folks and they become director of consulting, age 26.
Right.
And I could look at this as a big program, but I bring people back as a reflection on my career and how I chose to go that way versus staying in IBM, and everybody loves it. Because again, I desire 3 options, but sometimes, very rarely, it's not going to be in IBM.
It's the boots on the ground that makes someone a good practitioner, right? It's anybody can buy a certificate online now for, you know, $200, right?
Yes.
But where are you going to, you know, it's the application of the science that really is really making money. So how long is your program from start to finish?
2 years.
2 years? So it's a pretty big investment for the company that puts you
Yep.
through that 2 years.
It is, and we require that you get certifications while in the program. You can kind of choose your path. If you want to do Lean, Agile, continuous improvement, project management, and then we sponsor those certifications, often through external companies with internal badges that we've created at IBM. So you can become certified Lean coach, which is something that we came up with, and Now, not only TLD peers are getting that, we've created that and extended it to all of IBM, so we're running that. It's really great.
I'm sure I'll reach out for you because I'm really interested in it. If you can get me some information and documentation, you know, just the program itself, I'd be really appreciated.
And there is a picture on Friday, 9 o'clock if you're here. Otherwise, you can get the business cards. And you mentioned the investment from the company. Should I have it? TLDP runs on $0. Okay. I do have a global budget for CI, continuous improvement. So I have a lot of rotations that are really powerful and important. We get from the regions $500,000 to $1 million investments, Asia Pacific, etc. Right? But as far as officially TLDP budget, 0.
Right, well then, yeah, ours is actually across the board because they would have to pay for that training elsewhere, which really, so I say I earned my salary for the last 3 years by training the people I'm training today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
And you know, you look at it, okay, so how do we recruit? How do we balance supply and demand roles versus how do we communicate and do marketing for ourselves? So that we have something called secondary roles, which are 5 hours a week, maybe sometimes 10 hours a week. So once you have the critical mass, you farm it out, and you actually have really, really awesome leadership positions as part of the program. You know, your day job may not be awesome, but then you have a really great secondary role that will make a huge difference for your development, and it keeps the program running.
Yeah, which is great.
And I've learned as much running the North America operations, probably more doing this than I have in many of my primary roles with clients, so it's been wonderful.
Awesome.
Others?
Are your target enrollees typically just straight out of college, or what type of experience do you?
Very good question. Very good question. So we have something called graduate hire programs. Most of you have graduate hire programs. Engineers coming in. We have consultants coming in from pretty good schools, not Harvard, but you know, kind of pretty good schools. So what we are going after is the graduates after 2 years from these early professional graduate hire programs. So after 2 years, we have people chasing us now because we have the brand, right? We are well known. We have a statistics on graduation and promotion. You know, I can tell you how much on average the salary is increased, how much the band's increased. I have people, I'm a global leader. I have people who after graduation, 3 years after, are in the same level in the organization as I am after 20 some years. So we cherry pick the massive inflow of early career talent. And we typically talk to 5 people from that group to pick one. So it's a 20% acceptance ratio.
So we target folks that are about 2 to 3 years into their career, aspiring to be leaders within the company.
And is it based out of that Mid-Atlantic region? Because the other young lady that presented yesterday was also from Baltimore.
Yeah, no, we just both happen to be from Baltimore. And I see the Ravens shirt, so I assume that you have some connections there as well.
So we have Boston, New
We're
York,
everywhere.
DC,
San
we have
Francisco.
Sao Paulo, we have Australia.
So we actually only meet in person twice a year. We have university events where we do a big training and our graduation ceremonies. Otherwise, we work remote with one another, work with our clients, and then come together to do the program operations.
All right. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you, everyone.